Okay, welcome to July 4th, 2023 podcast. This is episode number two. Let's get right into it.
Hey, happy
So,
Fourth, by the way, right?
happy
Happy
4th, yeah.
Fourth.
We'll be
Hey,
talking about the 4th of July.
yeah, us Americans who like America.
hmm
Okay, what's on the agenda, Pedro?
So, cocaine in the White House. I guess the Secret Service investigating suspected cocaine found in the White House. So, they didn't really say what room it was in
It
or,
was in Biden. It was in
or
Hunter's room.
yeah, it probably
It
wasn't
was in
Hunter.
Hunter's
It
room.
might have been, yeah, when maybe he had a
Oh, yeah, a sleepover date with
sleepover.
with a
Yeah,
friend, and they had parties.
that's what I'm guessing. The spokesperson for the Secret Service, Anthony Guglielmi, said the substance is undergoing further testing. After they even evacuated, after a brief evacuation, it was determined to be cocaine hydrochloride. So I guess that's cocaine. I
It's
don't
it's
do
cocaine
cocaine.
because they cut it with other things, and this is in my opinion, when I heard that from you, immediately I thought, well, of course they cut it with. They always cut coke with something else because you want to keep the coke, and then you want to replace it with something. That's why fentanyl, and that's why they were
And
cutting it with stuff forever. That's a. You know what, folks? Here's a test of cocaine. It's called the smell test. You smell it, yeah,
yeah, but you know what I was
and
thinking
then oh
though,
yeah, it
because
is
they
coke.
were saying, well, it's a white powder, so then maybe they were thinking it could have been like anthrax or some type of. You just don't know if it's
Biological agent.
unidentified. You have to go through these, so I can understand what the Secret Service people are thinking. They're like, we really don't 100% know what it is. Um, our job is to protect the president and the
Be
people in
thorough
the
about
White,
these
and be
things.
absolutely 100% thorough. And so I can kind of understand their point. It sounds kind of ridiculous to guys like me and you, probably to most people who are watching this, but it does make sense from their point of view.
Well, I mean, if you got to be thorough, got to be thorough. But that's one thing. The other thing is there's cocaine in the White House.
I mean, there's cocaine in the
It's the
White
White
House.
House. Of course, you're gonna have
That's why
cocaine White House. They're gonna call it the White House. But
they call it the White House. Okay.
well, I mean, think about it. It's like
I guess the
what?
DC Fire Department was also involved too. So they got the fire department.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know why they would get the fire department. I mean, do they have like stuff to
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Go
yeah,
in there like, hey, everybody surround the bag
maybe
of
like
cocaine.
hazmat suits. I mean, I could see how
Oh,
like overly dramatic the whole scene could probably
yeah,
appear,
yeah.
but I can understand what the Secret Service was going through
I would
too.
do the same
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, I could. They can't take any chances.
What kind of substance is
So
around this president? Well, like I said, just I guess when Hunter's around, that stuff's around.
I guess so. Alrighty. Well, the second thing is the violence is rising. I was reading the last couple of days in Baltimore. I think there was two in a block party. So there's just a whole bunch of people crammed in a block party. Two people killed, 28 injured, including two children, 13 years old. I think both of them were 13. 28 injured. That means there was a lot of bullets
You
flying
know what it is?
everywhere.
You know what that is, Pedro? 100%. People who commit violence are not listening to Gregorian chants. They're listening to the things that inspire that violence.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And
DropHat is
glorify it.
we're building DropHat. What is DropHat? It's social streaming shopping network. We're going to integrate all these services that you see on your little phone and integrate them. Why is that so important? Is because we understand that when you get fed all these images and like, hey, everyone's throwing cash around and it's raining and then there's hoes and clothes and boats and and then you don't get it and you don't achieve that lifestyle, then there's frustration that comes in.
Yeah.
So and then you
How
live
much
in
real world
poverty.
how much real world value are some people getting when they listen to the music that they listen to, the TV shows that they watch? It was kind of weird. I'd go see Sons of Anarchy, and then all of a sudden, everyone has a leather jacket
Jacket and wants
and
to ride a bike and
wants to
flip
ride a
somebody
bike
out.
and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
this is like predictive programming. Like you could feed people, the beautiful things in life, and then they'll be like, "Hey, I want to read, and I want to go hiking, and I want to be peaceful." And
Well,
but you could also introduce very, violent forms of music, violent forms of thinking
yeah, of
and
course.
behaving, and that's the
There's a
society we
difference
have
between
now.
like a war movie like Platoon and something that has blood in it.
hmm
There's the difference between that. There's violence in Platoon, But when you create something gore for the sake of gore, give me more, more, more. That seems to things like Platoon, which was violent, makes us want to be peaceful, doesn't it? We see the
Well,
ugliness of war.
yeah.
We don't glorify war. We don't say like it's cool to have your gad, and it's cool to shoot people, and it's cool to stay your ground, sell drugs to 6-year-olds, and this
Yeah.
is ridiculous. This is getting to the point where stuff like that. This is the manifestation of that.
Yeah, I mean, these are very violent
It's
acts. I mean,
serious business.
that one in Baltimore, 2 dead, 28 injured. I mean, somebody just had
28.
like, somebody was just spraying the crowd,
Hmm.
with their
Can you say life in prison?
machinations of death. But yeah, I mean, if those if I was a judge and they caught those, I don't know if they caught the guys. There's another incident too where
Oh, they're going to
five
catch the guys.
random people. Yeah, the one actually the one I was referring to is the one in Philadelphia. Five killed. That was a random act of violence. So it's five killed, two wounded, and it was random. It wasn't like he was seeking anything. He just was blasting people
Okay,
left and right.
let's go to the next
So
subject here
yeah, this
because
is
this
kind of
is
an
ultra
okay.
depressing.
A little bit lighter. Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Okay, so everyone kind of knows at this point that Joey Chestnut is. There was Kobayashi for a long time, and maybe I don't know, his stomach exploded or something. I don't know. He's not doing it anymore. But this kid, Joey Chestnut, I guess he's from New York. He ate 62 hot dogs and won his 16th title. So 16 years. I don't know if it's in a row, but 16 years he's won
I would
the
say
title.
congratulations, but that's like saying that congratulations for being a glutton.
Well,
Mm,
I mean, I
congrats.
don't know what kind of exercises you could do too.
Oh yeah, you can.
Like,
Yeah, you have to
like
buy.
would you have to like, drink a certain drink, drink a whole bunch of water before, don't eat 24 hours before a hot dog eating contest.
What do you do? I mean,
What do you do?
drop a
How do you
comment.
get?
I don't
I
know.
mean, is there breathing exercise? I'm assuming that there's got to be some type of breathing exercise and relaxing,
To be
opening up the
opening up your.
diaphragm, the stomach opens up. There has to be some type of fluid. Obviously, nothing. Don't eat anything. Maybe 24 hours before or something. Who knows?
Who knows? If you
But
guys know, you just comment.
but
I'm not going to do any research on it. You
the
guys do it.
the men's world record is 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes in 2021. And the female who won is Nikki Sudo. She ate 39 and a half hot dogs. And don't know how much time that was, but 39 and a half hot dogs, that's a lot.
That would take me 39 days to eat.
Yeah, I couldn't eat them with all
No,
those.
maybe a hot dog a day.
Maybe Nathan's is good. They don't have too many of the nitrates and stuff, but maybe they do though. I
Maybe they
mean,
do.
who knows? It just seems a little bit weird. So I guess that's a kind of the lighter part of the news. Nathan's hot dog eating
Okay, so you have
contest
murder, you have cocaine in the White House, you have murder in the streets of Philadelphia and
in Baltimore.
Baltimore, and then which is utterly depressing. And then people like to eat hot dogs until they can't eat hot dogs anymore. And this is America
Hmm.
on this July 4th.
Yeah, and speaking of America, what does America mean to us? See, that's
Everything
like, well, I mean,
a lot.
we've been in this country since 1978. We were born in 1976. We came here when we were 2 years old. So I don't really, we were born in Canada. I don't really remember anything of Canada.
Our first language
Uh,
was not this language, was not
yeah,
English at all.
yeah, we learned how to speak Croatian, then we learned how to speak English.
Croatian.
And so,
But
you know,
look at this Croatian thing. I want to make this point, Pedro. Look at this Croatian thing. I mean, we here's a bunch of Croatian people that go over here and then go to Canada and then come to America because we have faith in America. I
mhm,
wanted to make that point. I was thinking about it earlier, and it's like this is a nation of immigrants, and I don't know if I'm going to use that word, but I'm going to use that. There's an attractive power to America where you can get what you need and want, and you can strive and you can do your best. That's why our father
yeah,
was very, very adamant about these sort of things. So, he took it to the top. I mean, he saw all that opportunity. He decided to build
mhm.
houses. And what we decided to do is build digital houses. Now we're in the digital building world, where before, our father was building for America. Now there's a different way to build. But
Well, yeah, there's always an opportunity in the United States.
yeah, that's what it is.
The more you go around the world, the more you probably appreciate the United States
Hmm.
for what it does, what it can, and what it can do. I mean, I don't appreciate a lot of the wars that we getting into and this and that.
Oh, who does?
But it does. This land provides a lot of opportunity. Um, Maybe a little too much though. Sometimes, I think that when you have too much, too many resources, maybe people fail to move. Sometimes the scarcity will light the fire under your butt, so you can do
Uh,
what you need
I'll tell you one
to
thing.
do.
Americans, look at this. We're overfed. Our bums, our people that are on the street, and I don't call them bums actually. But people who choose to be on the street, or people who are, have
Homeless.
mental illnesses who are on the street. They don't have any. They're overweight.
Yeah,
People
and
in
they're
like
having cell
Yemen,
phones.
people in Yemen are like bone thin.
Yeah,
And you see, and then they have and people in like lesser, well, Yemen's pretty good, but I'm saying in lesser countries, but our country, even if you don't have a job, if you don't even have anything, you're going to gain weight. You're going to be eating. There's just so much food
hmm
here and so much alcohol and so much.
and people are nice. Like in America, Americans are really nice. Like
Yeah.
if you're a foreigner and you come to this country, like you're impressed by how nice Americans are. They will feed you. They will help you if
Mhm.
if you get hurt. If you get you gas in your car, feed you. These types of things. They're really empathetic, kind people. That's really overlooked. Almost anywhere you go into this country, you're going to get people who are kind, and that's what I appreciate about the United States. There's a lot of opportunity, and then there's the people are very, very nice.
Well, the thing with Americans is you go all over the world. You ask anybody. You even go on YouTube and you
Hmm
watch these little YouTube, like, what do
hmm
Japanese people think about Americans and all
Well,
this
they're
stuff.
all friendly.
They always say that. They
Hmm
do. Hey, heck, we're from another country,
Yeah, they
so
talk about like,
we know what they talk about you guys. We're the conduit. We're the
hmm
middlemen. We know what they say about you.
hmm
It's usually loud and the more obnoxious, loud, obnoxious. Sure, you get that, but you also get confident and friendly. I mean, overtly friendly.
hmm
Maybe some people think that we're fake, and some of us are fake. Let's be honest. But by and large, Americans, and that's why I love America, is because you can do that. You have the option to do that, and I think most of us opt to do good in this country.
yeah,
Yeah,
the opportunity is definitely there. I think it's just this lull time in 2023, where a lot of things that people have been using have been built. The highways have been built. The buildings have been built. We probably overbuilt actually with the buildings. There's a lot of empty buildings,
yeah.
even here in San Jose, heart of Silicon Valley. All you got to do is go down, on Hamilton, Bascom area. There's a lot of like where,
Emptiness
yeah,
downtown. Go to downtown.
go
There's those
downtown.
buildings are
That's a great
empty.
example.
They're all empty.
Because we overbuilt. So I don't know what they're going to do with these buildings. So, but there's a feeling in 2023, especially with the younger people. I feel they don't feel that there's a lot of opportunity for them. But I think that that's kind of nonsense.
Well, heck,
Just
we
plain
went through the digital phase. So the digital era just basically said you don't need to work at an office, you can work from home. That
hmm
disrupted absolutely everything in the commercial real estate business.
hmm
Now you have these big Rakutens and these weird big conglomerates with these little alien names just launching up these huge here in San Jose you got these huge buildings that are absolutely worthless. I drove by one of them and all the lights were on. This thing was the size of like 4 football fields, and I am not
Yeah,
joking.
and all the lights are
And
on. Like
all
why?
the lights were on. Why?
Yeah,
Everything, it was just a waste. Hey, listen, I think I'm babbling over here, but is that all we have? Is this
yeah.
is,
I
is
mean,
this it?
I guess that's yeah. I mean, that's what does America mean to us on this Fourth of July? 47 years old. I'm well into probably the second half of my life. And beside maybe Croatia, I wouldn't know where else to go. I wouldn't really want to go anywhere else. I like to travel, but I call the United States my home for a reason.
Yep,
Yeah, I'll go to
yep,
Africa. I'll go
yep,
to South America.
yep.
I'll go to Canada. I'll go to Europe. I'll go to anywhere on the planet almost. But where do I always come back to? The United States of America.
Short story before we
You know,
leave here. When I was turning 41, this was a few years ago, I went to the land of the Dutch and I had some Dutch treats over there, we'll call them. and I had a great time. The Dutch are fantastic people. Don't piss them off. And I walked the streets and I did all this stuff and I loved every second of it. Then I came into this country back. I came back and then I immediately stepped off the train and said, I really love where I come from.
Hmm.
You can only have that real experience when you leave somewhere for a little while and then you come back and you go, it is good to be back home. It's always good to be back home. Everybody, that's why they write songs called like Coming Home or I'm Coming Home to You or Home is Where the Heart Is and Home Sweet Home and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It really is an endearing feeling
It does
to know
it.
that you have a home that you can identify with its people and you know its streets, you know. That's
Mhm.
very, very important. This country is amazing, and anybody who says that it isn't is probably just either vindictive or intellectually not bright.
Well, maybe there's
Probably vindictive. We got a lot of
well,
vindictive people.
I went to Africa, a few years back, and I really liked it. I was in Nairobi, Kenya. I was in Tanzania, and these beautiful parts of Africa. They're absolutely gorgeous, and just natural landscape for forever. It's like you're in another. It's like you're on another planet,
Oh yeah.
and beautiful, kind people. And then when I came back home, I was glad to be home. I had a great time when I was in Africa. I had a great time when I was in Europe. I had a great time when I was in all of these places. But when I go home, it's like this is my home, and
And
it. I just don't think it's as bad as people think it is. I think that we do have some things that we have to kind of
you know what I would
get
say?
better at. But
I'm going to challenge everybody out there. If you think this country sucks, okay, that's one opinion. Look on the other side. How much have you traveled? So you
mhm,
say this country sucks. Okay, well,
you
have you traveled in other
yeah,
countries?
yeah,
So when you do that, then
compare,
you'll have
compare.
compare.
Yeah.
Then you can go like, hey, this is one side, that's another side, boom, boom, boom. Because every time I went outside of the States, and I did that 10, 11, 20 times, I must have, maybe 10 times, 8 times. Every time I come back, I remember even as a kid in the 80s, going way over there to Eastern Europe, and then coming back and going, I remember thinking I love 7-Eleven when I was
Hmm.
little, because I couldn't get any
There's no Seven
any
Elevens like
gum
in
over
Kenya.
there, and I
There's no
couldn't
Seven
get.
Elevens in
Yeah,
Croatia.
I
There's
mean,
no Seven
as a
Elevens.
10-year-old, I'm thinking, oh, hey, I'm going to go play video games at 7-Eleven and
Yeah.
then get a Slurpee, and but you couldn't do that in Croatia at all,
Hmm.
and you had to pick your food, you had to grow your food, you had to kill your
Which,
food.
which wa- which was I like that actually. I think that that's an aspect of just human living that we should be more in tune with. Growing your own food, cooking your own food,
Oh
preparing
yeah,
your food.
have a garden.
Have all that stuff. That's been taken away. So that's kind of a disadvantage I feel about living in the United States. There's a lot of whatever land is available is you know
Good.
has already been claimed.
Well, how long is this thing over here? How much
About
do we have?
18.
18 minutes. There it is.
All righty. So, that's the end of this podcast. Happy 4th of July, guys. Stay safe. Don't drink too much and not that many firecrackers. If you're going to go do that firecracker crap, do it somewhere else.
Oh yeah,
And
no, no,
you scared the hell out. You
that
scared
that
the hell out of my dog.
yeah, that scares the hell out of his dog, and
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous. And and you Americans, you're talking about America, love dogs. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever you launch that ridiculousness in the air, just know that a dog is being frightened,
Yeah.
and probably an old lady
Also,
too.
PTSD people.
Stupid. And PTSD people.
Yeah.
These people that go to war, and most of them hate that they went over there. Let's be honest. I talked to a hatful of those dudes, and all of them said I would never go back. I would never do it ever again.
Hmm.
I've got four guys in my mind right now that I know. Anyway, this country's not about war. It's not about conquest. It really is about freedom, freedom to do as you wish, and sometimes that means calamity. But anyway, happy Fourth of July,
Happy
folks.
4th of July, guys.
Happy Fourth.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
I did.